Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is the First Lieutenant with the Michigan State Police, Gabe Covey. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Talking, unfortunately, about something that is a major issue, causes an awful lot of heartache and destruction in all of Michigan, and that is heroin use, something that perhaps my generation, or I always thought that's sort of old school. Don't we have all these new fancy new drugs that the teens are into these days? But yes and no, heroin's still alive and well.
Yes, so thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk about this important issue. Michigan has seen an increase in the number of folks that are using heroin. And you were right, the stereotypical person that we, the older generation, think is using heroin is somebody older that's sticking a needle in their arm in a dirty back alley, when in fact the data today is showing us that most folks that are using heroin are between the ages of 18 and 24. And some are starting as early as 14 years old. Now, the reason that we think that this is happening is because heroin is a lot easier to take in the body these days. Again, it's not just sticking a needle in your arm. You can smoke it or you can inhale it, are some of the reasons that this is happening. Now, part of the problem with that, why people are using heroin, is because we are noticing that there's a bit of a prescription drug problem as well, where, say, a student is injured at school or a sport injury and they have to go on pain medication. If it's not regulated, they get addicted to the pain medication, and after a while they are unable to support the habit of getting illegal prescription meds and end up going to heroin because it's a cheaper alternative.
I don't even want to know where you get heroin, and I don't want you to give that away either, but what should we be doing as parents, as educators, as community members to try to help prevent, stop the growth of this addiction?
Well, as a parent, you definitely need to talk to your kids about heroin use. And that was the reason that we had this forum here last week in East Lansing. We invited 450 members, stakeholders in the community, from law enforcement to Department of Education to Department of Community Health, to bring everybody together to talk about the issues and the growing trend with folks that are using heroin. So with that, we want parents to get more involved. I can tell you that the state police has community service troopers at every one of their posts, soon to be every one of the posts. And these troopers go out and talk to the schools, talk to businesses. We'll even go to churches and talk to them about the different types of drugs that are out there and the dangers, for example, of heroin use.
You mentioned you had a summit, y'all came together, talked about what do we do going forward. Were you able to have some major takeaways, aha moments, this is what we really need to focus on or do going forward?
Well, certainly bringing everybody together and helping everyone to understand all the elements. And what we've realized is that one entity is not going to do it alone. Law enforcement is not going to be able to tackle this without the help of some of our community leaders, folks, parents. Folks need to get involved and understand how easy it is to get heroin today, that the game has changed, and that we need to be more involved in what our youth are doing to educate them as to the dangers of heroin.
So if you're talking to them about their grades and you're talking to them about their sexual promiscuity, just add heroin to the list, have an open conversation, make sure that that's going on, not just with your teens, your middle schoolers as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely, and thanks again for having me.
Thank you. Today's Comcast Newsmaker was First Lieutenant with the Michigan State Police, Gabe Covey.